Hello and welcome, beautiful people, to another Rush review. Because the clouds are very near to us, this is a black car, so if it rains, it's pretty much wraps for this entire review. This car won't look so clean. It looks so beautiful and black. But what am I talking about? We're talking about a 2021 GR Toyota Yaris. What is this thing specifically? It is a Yaris, and it is quite small, and it's 700,000 Rand. That's a lot of money for a Yaris. But if you ask me about it, it's 100% worth it, because this is, and the plaque says it on the inside, is a WRC something 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 homologation, blah 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 blah. Let me shorten it and make it make sense. What that basically means, in order for cars to go and compete in WRC, you need to have a road going version of the car, because pretty much between the rally cars and the road going cars, they pretty much just share the shell, and that's about it. Everything else is fully race spec, and maybe they'll share the headlights. In order to compete in that, once again, you have to have a road going version. So Toyota have gifted this to us. This car is absolutely beautiful, it's fantastic to drive, and I think it follows one of the best formulas ever. Really short wheelbase, really wide track, 4-wheel drive, and it goes like hell. Yes, you might suffer a little bit on the straight line because this under the hood does have a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine in it. So it is a small engine and it has a little bit less than 300 horsepower. But at the end of the day, this formula is what we need more of. A car that costs around 700,000 Rand and less, I would like it to be less, but you know, things are just so expensive these days. So 700,000 is trying to be realistic. It's got less than 300 horses, which means you can use all of it all the time, which makes this car so much fun, and you just enjoy ripping the hell out of it. Because even to get to extremely legal speeds that are gonna get you into jail, you need to kind of get to like 4th gear, like top of 3rd into 4th. That's when it starts to get a bit scary, instead of just 1st and then 2nd, and 2nd is like at 120 plus, and then you're already doing somewhat illegal speeds and you gotta, you know, dial it back a bit. This, you can continue ripping and ripping and ripping until, and you can have so much fun. But this car doesn't shine on the straights, like I said. Where it really does shine is in the corners, turning the car, anything that has to do with maneuverability. You'll have so much fun. It is a joy. It doesn't drift around, which is something I'd like, being a BMW head myself, but that's okay, because throwing a car around the corner is so much fun. Let's get into some of the visual cues and visual stylings of this car. This carbon fiber that you're seeing is vinyl, but the actual roof itself is actually carbon fiber. They put vinyl over it. Why? Well, it's actually quite simple. The answer is quite simple. I want to be mysterious and be like, why would you do that? But I kind of get it. Also, it's kind of like cost-cutting measure, because carbon fiber, when it's not supposed to be exposed, is quite messy. It doesn't look like that nice weave that we're all familiar with, that we all see and we all love. It looks quite messy. So instead of going through that, and that's quite an expensive process to make it look nice and to gloss over it, put coating on it. It's an expensive process. So they made a carbon fiber and then put a vinyl on it. And I don't mind that. I like it because it kept the cost down. Yes, 700,000 Rand for a new 2024 Toyota GR Yaris is a lot, but it's a lot of car. I'm not gonna lie, especially for enthusiasts. This is not your regular, everyday sort of driving. I'm just gonna pull it down to the shops. This is like, I want to get into a car and drive. This car at the back, it's quite boxy and so on and so forth, but I really like the way it looks. It is a bit aggressive, but if it's not for you, I get it. But at the same time, I think it just makes absolute sense. It's kind of cool. It's really cool with the dual exit exhaust and then the reverse light down there as well. And I mean, whilst we're back here, I'm gonna talk about something that like might be important to you or not. So yeah, that's the boot space. Take a guess at where this car was bought from. Trust, they did not let us forget. Especially because my Ford Fiesta, unfortunately, it stopped going to 5, 6, and reverse. So Whip Game Local kindly borrowed me this car, and I was like, shout out to the boy Whip Game Local for borrowing me this car. He held me down through a time, you know, and I really need my car to get up and down. So big shout out to him. Shout out to boy Whip Game Local. To show appreciation, please do follow him. We'll leave a link to his Instagram down below. So please do give him a follow and show him support. You know, shout out to the boy for real. Cool, so now we are driving this car. You heard it beep at me. That would be because I veered a little bit off the lane, and it has lane keep assist and lane warning assist, all those fancy things. So it beeps at you quite a bit, especially if you're, okay, I'm gonna admit this. This is about me, and I know it's not right, but hey, it happens. I veer quite often, like in my lane, I do. However, majority of the time I do have the lane like centering assist, so it helps you stay center in the middle of the car, in the middle of the lane. I do switch that off because I find that more often than not it actually kind of makes me go to the left a lot. Like, it makes me stick to the left side of the lane quite a bit, and to be quite honest, I don't enjoy that. If you're downshifting, there's a button here called IMT that activates the automatic rev matching on downshift, so it adds to experience. This is what I'm talking about, and that's the BP again because I didn't indicate that time. It's calm, like it's a Yaris at the end of the day. You do notice that it is a bit stiff, and the gearbox and the clutch are a little bit stiff. Like, you can feel they're a little bit racier and more engaging, to be quite honest. And this car is one of the most engaging cars you can drive today, hands down. So this car has many buttons in it. One of them, you turn it into track, and you can actually do something amazing. And then you press the traction control off button. It puts you in expert mode. This car is so stable, so well built, that even in this mode there will be no wheel spinning, there will be no, swaying side to side, nothing of that nature at all, because it's just so like stable. So now I'm gonna launch it and you're gonna see. Right, here we go. And we're gone. Just like that. No wheel spin, no nothing. Gear change, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Coming up to a circle, I hit the brakes hard, chuck it in a little bit, and like, I am not fighting anything at all. Oh my day. That is so much fun. This car makes you feel like an absolute hero. If you half know what you're doing, this car will make you an expert, a hero that knows what you're fully doing. I feel like I'm 3/4 of the way there when in terms of talking about knowing what I'm doing. So it is, so I feel like I'm fully there. I'm a hero in this car because I'm just like, this car is amazing. It just grips around corners and you feel so safe in it. And if it does step out a little bit, it's so minute, you can't even tell. And I feel like if you do end up counter steering in this car specifically, you're a mad person. One, because it takes so much to actually break that amount of traction, because it's just so sticky and it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It is so much fun. And remember, traction control's off, everything is off, all the safety nets are off, but I was still safe. And me turning everything off in a car is not a regular thing, because firstly, it's not my car, but in this, you can and still be safe. Because like I said, if you know half of what you're doing, you're halfway there, you're all good to go. That's the bumpiness I was talking about earlier. The suspension is very stiff. Whether you're in track, whether you're in sport, whether you're in normal, very, 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 very stiff car to drive. But I mean, who's complaining anyway? That's what this car is for. It's supposed to be stiff. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's an enthusiast car. And I'm so happy that Toyota made this, because it's like, okay, we see you, enthusiast. At what price? There's not a lot of cars that you can get into at this specific price point. Everything's either like watered down or it's very gimmicky, and it's not a real driver's car, because what this is a real driver's car. And this is what it's about. Yes, the radio and the sound's not that great. Yes, you'll bump around, but the seats are comfortable. The drive is engaging. What more do we need? And I think, like, nowadays as enthusiasts, we are forgotten. The biggest example I can use in terms of being forgotten as enthusiasts, Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG, the new one that they released. They thought it was all about number, power figures, 0 to 100 times. Not once did I tell you the 0 to 100 time in this car, because it doesn't matter. It's stated to be like 5.5 seconds, but I don't care. Nobody should care about that. This car's about getting in here and driving the hell out of it and smiling ear to ear all the time. It's not about, oh, I can be faster than ABC, so on and so forth. Yes, it's like fun to say, chat nonsense with your boys and be like, I'm faster than you and I gapped you and so on and so forth. Sure, I understand it. But I feel like in the process, we as enthusiasts, we were forgotten. It was never really about the numbers, and if you look at it, it could never be about the numbers, because you're gonna keep going for numbers that are unattainable. Oh yeah, I want the car to have 1,000 horsepower. By the time you reach 700 horsepower, it's too much power for the road. Any case, it's way too much. And if you have something against that, sure, okay, cool, but don't say that to me and then tell me that you drag race or you race professionally for the road. 700 or 600 horses, it's too much. Give me 500 horsepower. Give me a good gearbox, whether it's a manual, automatic, and like a DCT or a PDK, whatever, and a good chassis, good suspension, and I'm going to be smiling ear to ear the whole time. C63 MG, I'm going back to that point because I feel like that's where we were forgotten. We, enthusiasts, we made that car cool. We made that car cool. When they came out with the C63 W507 edition, well, not edition, but range, came with the 6.3 liter V8. Started saying to people, only, only Coke, juice, and milk come in 2 liters, because that's a real V8, and that was a claim to fame for it. They had to go down to a 4.4 liter V8, and that was perfectly fine. Nobody's complaining about that. You know, climate change is very important to take care of the earth and so on and so forth. It's very important, and they added a turbocharger to it. Okay, cool, more efficiency, more power. Nobody's complaining because we still had a V8 and we still felt like, you know what, this is still an enthusiast car. It's really cool. Then they come out with the latest thing. They give it a 2 liter, 4-cylinder engine, and they're like, it's got 1,000 horsepower. Sure, yeah, cool. But they had forgotten who made those cars cool. It was enthusiasts who made those cars cool. Who cared about how many liters an engine had? Who really cared how many cylinders it had and what noise it made? We are the people who cared. We made it cool, and then you're gonna forget us like that? I don't agree. What's wrong with you? And now nowadays, modern cars are coming and piping in sound through the speakers because of homologations and so on and so forth. I get it, but work around the homologations. Instead of giving us something fake, give us something real. Give us a great driving experience. Out of all the models that you have, one variant, I think one variant should be specifically for enthusiasts. Now, don't make it so that someone who likes, for example, likes a 1 Series, likes a 120, likes a 130D, whatever there is nowadays, who likes those ranges, and then but they want top of the range, make them the priority. No, give it to the enthusiast. If they want top of the range, they must know that it's for the enthusiast. It's uncomfortable. It's noisy. It's a go, 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 go car. Not a you can go but be extremely comfortable, because we're also trying to play both sides of the field. No, pick and choose. Do something for enthusiasts. We made these cars cool. We really did. We made it cool to own a really fast car. It was all about enthusiasts. I don't care. It's like you're forgetting us now. Cars are coming heavy. I don't mind, because you know you got to make sure things are comfortable, street. But give us what we should have at least. You know, give us a hand, and don't now say, yeah, okay, cool. But if you want a BMW that's an enthusiast car, so on and so forth, there's an M3 CS. How much does that cost? Not everyone can go around affording such expensive cars, and that are so rare as well, that you could, even when you drive it, you're stressing majority of the time. Give us things like this from our favorite brands, where it's so much fun to drive and own these cars. 700,000 Rand. It's not going to cost you a fortune to insure it, and you can chuck it around, and you don't have to be that much of a professional driver to handle this, because it has less than 300 horses. If you tip this, or if you do something crazy with it, you have your own special abilities, to be quite honest, and I cannot help you or argue for you there. But in terms of this car alone, it's brilliant. This is what we need. They have not forgotten about us. Great price point. It's a great formula. Less than 300 horses. It's a manual. It's got cool seats. It looks cool. It actually also does sound cool. You know, you hear a lot of the engine noise. Unless I'm lying and they also pipe in noise through the cabin, then I've been fooled. But to me, it sounds like a lot of engine noise. You know, it sounds like, yes, you're really hearing the engine work. It's got a really deep, bassy tone to it. And you feel the torque, you know, shoot out, and you feel it, you know, pull you back, and you're having so much fun. Yes, I'm not the fastest person in the world right now, nor am I going to beat a lot of cars on a straight line. I don't care. I'm having fun. I'm smiling ear to ear. One variant out of all the models in a car, in a manufacturer's lineup, specifically for enthusiasts. Come on, is it too much to ask for? Give us things that we want, man. Yes, all the entertainment, the infotainment, the brilliant infotainment, comfort seats, so on and so forth, the beautiful lighting. But don't forget the guys who made these cars cool. Guys and girls. That's the things of community. We made it cool to have these cars. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get back to that. Let's circle back, spin the block, come back from where we came from. Remember why we like cars. Make them mad again. Stop being so safe. Work around things, make packages, you know, say, oh, yeah, our exhaust have to be quiet like this, like this, like this. Make us tick an option that, oh, we want a louder car, a louder exhaust, then you can only install it once the car has been delivered. And you had to go to the Lamborghini Diablo. You couldn't have the wing installed from factory. It had to get to the dealership, delivered to you, and then you install the wing afterwards. So with Porsche, what ended up happening is that you couldn't have the roll cage inside, like the car from factory. It was illegal. So what did they do? You go there, pick up your car, get it delivered, say you want your roll cage installed, and get it installed. What's so difficult about that? Everyone was happy. Yeah, it's a little bit of a go around, but what's the problem with it? I don't understand. I'm just saying we've been a little bit forgotten nowadays, you know. We need more cars like this where we can have a lot of fun in them and we can just drive around and whip them hard and be enthusiast again. But yeah, from me guys, it's been your boy, and I enjoyed giving you this rush review. Excuse the crash out, but I think it's needed. Until next time, peace.